Happy Monday. This is James and Mitchell, your intuitive guidance counselor, here with your week in tarot. And this week we're going to be using, once again, the Sirian Starseed Tarot by Patricia Cori and Alysa Bartha. And the reason why I'm using it again is because I used it for last week's video and it was so well received that I thought I would just, go with it again. I figured if it's not broke, don't fix it. So there we go. So as you know, I've taken the deck and I separated it into 3 piles. The first pile is going to consist of the major arcana cards, and that's going to be our theme for the week. The middle pile is going to be the court cards, and that's going to tell us what our approach that Tarot is asking us to consider for the week might be. And the last pile is the remaining minor arcana cards, and that's going to show us a potential challenge that we may experience as we go through the week. So having said that, I'm going to take the first pile, which is representative of our theme, and I'm going to shuffle till I feel led to pull a card, and I like this one. So our theme card for the week is the higher self, which is the high priestess. And so this week we're being asked to honor our intuition. Our intuition speaks to us in small, subtle ways, and so we're being asked to know how that works for us. I recently gave a talk, and our intuition works with our feelings. So our feelings operate on different levels. Sometimes we may feel something in our body. We may just have a feeling that we know something, that kind of thing. Also, too, the intuition works through what we call the 5 clairs. So the 5 clairs operate on clairvoyance, which is being able to picture something in your mind. Clairaudience is where you hear something in your head. And sometimes that could be you hear words or you hear lines of songs. Claircognizance is just knowing that you know something without knowing how you know it. And then clairsentience is, you have a feeling in your body, like when people say, I got knots in my stomach or butterflies in my stomach, that kind of thing. For me, I always feel things in my head. So my head will either tingle, or my scalp will tingle, or will feel like somebody's putting a cap on my head, and it just makes my entire head tingle. So this week we're being asked to look at how our intuition works with us. How are you open to it? How are you receptive to it? Those kinds of things. So that's our theme for the week. It's about paying attention to your intuition, honoring your intuition, and knowing how your intuition works with you, because our internal GPS, if you will, doesn't work the same way for everyone. And so this week we're being asked to discover how it works with us and how can we be more open and receptive to the messages that it has for us. So then our approach card this week, this one. This is the Sage of Chalices. Oh, I love this. Okay, so now a couple of things about this deck. Sages are traditionally known as queens in tarot, and then chalices is the suit of cups. So this technically is the Queen of Cups. So she just validates what I said about the higher self. Both of these go hand in hand about honoring your intuition. This card is asking us to approach people, because chalices are about how we relate to other people and relationships. How can we relate to people in a way in which we are demonstrating empathy? So how can you be more empathetic to people's situations, their circumstances? How can you be there present with your heart open? And again, open being a form of receptivity with the higher self. How can you be receptive to what it is that they might need or want from you in terms of support? The higher self is the number 2 card. So the 2 in tarot is a number of balance, but it's also a number of being a helper or being the assistant. So how can we assist people through our intuition? But also too, how can you let your intuition assist you? Both of these cards are representative of a person who's highly intuitive. So how can you allow your intuition to be of assistance to you? So that's the Sage of Chalices this week. And then possible challenge Okay. Take this one. This is the Six of Orbs. Okay, so I see a theme here this week. The Six of Orbs, first thing with the theme, going with the higher self and the Sage of Challenges. If those of us who are dreamers and actively work with our dreams, all three of these cards are suggesting that we may get intuitive guidance through our dreams. So this week we're being asked, if you're a dreamer, pay attention to the dream message that you're going to get this week, because there's going to be important guidance, especially with the higher self and Sage of Challenges, that comes through your dreams this week. The Six of Orbs is also about going through difficult times, but they are taking a turn for the better. Typically, the image on this card is a ferryman, and he is taking a woman and child across water. And if you notice on the image, which is typical, that one side of the water looks a little choppy and the other side looks calm. So it's about moving, because there's a dolphin that's breaking the surface of the water. It's about moving from difficult or choppy waters into more tranquil waters. So it's about making that transition. I should say this card is typically known as the Six of Swords because orbs in this deck is the suit of swords. So swords as a suit represents problems, challenges, difficulties. It's also about problem solving and decision making. So it's about moving from one state to the other. It's a transitionary phase. So the other thing with this card is about how, during that time of transition, it's about how can you become more objective about your situation. This card is asking us to take a step back. The element, there's lots of water. If you notice, there's water on all three cards. So it could be suggesting that, especially with orbs being swords, and swords represents the mind, it's like, how can you become a little more emotionally detached? It may be saying that you're too emotionally immersed in what's going on, and it may be that you need to be more analytical, more logical, more intellectually oriented, more analytical, those kinds of things, instead of being so immersed in the situation from an emotional standpoint. So again, the higher self is about honoring your intuition, knowing how it speaks to you, how can you be more open and receptive to it. Sage of Chalices, dovetailing right off of that. Again, how can you honor your intuition? What practical ways can you put that into practice? How can you be more empathetic in your relations with other people this week? And then the Six of Orbs, first off with the other two cards is about paying attention to your dreams and the messages they have for you, because there may be something significant, and knowing that if you're experiencing a difficult time, that it's going to become better. It's a matter of you maybe being more in your head about it, more rational, logical, analytical, instead of just being so emotionally immersed. So this is your week in tarot. I am James Himm Mitchell, your intuitive guidance counselor, and I look forward to sharing this space here again with you next week. And until then, have a tarot-tastic week and take care.